to this side and from that side to that side. You know why. All right. So it's not me being rude, not looking y'all in the face, digital face, right? You're on the other side of the screen. But it has to do with the fact that I'm looking at both sides. Hey, people from YouTube, if y'all joining in, just join in. The topic is how we are going to use workflow automation for creatives and artists. So the thing that we were still talking about, so the people from TikTok, we were still talking about is it okay to use AI as an artist, right? And I said, it depends. That is your personal decision, right? It's a personal decision. I had a conversation once with someone who is an art gallery owner in the United States. I live here in the Netherlands. They are in the United States. And his take on it is, why not? It is an affordable way also to create art. It is an affordable way. It is an accessible way. Anybody who has access to internet can start creating art with AI, artificial intelligence. So he was not opposed to it, right? So I respect that perspective. I respect it. For me personally, I already showed y'all, I'm sitting here always with pencils, and markers, and all of those great things. I have my tablet over here, just scribbling, right? That is for me is important. I think for me the feeling of having a pencil or a brush in the hand is so important for me, because that is for me the way that I experience my art practice. But that can be different for anybody else. How am I possibly going to tell someone who has discovered AI and is doing great things in there, and really is maybe delving deep into that they are not experiencing their portion, their vision of art? I don't get to say that. I don't get to say that. I can't. I have an opinion, but I don't get to say that they are doing that. However, when you look at the other side of the coin, and we are looking at, of course, all of the artists, writers, animators, illustrators, painters, who are dealing with all of these people that are taking over their work. How do you explain that? How do you explain someone working for a particular company, a creative agency, and they find out that they are basically training a software and eventually they have to go because she's not needed anymore? And fortunately enough, this is a real story. I've made a video about this as well on TikTok. Fortunately enough, she had already a following. She had a community already on her page, that she still could have, some form of income from. But you can imagine that it is a hard thing to live with if you all of a sudden are, um, you're kicked out of a company because you're not needed anymore. We don't need you anymore. You are trained the software for us. Thank you so much. Bye bye. That's a weird thing. And that is also what a lot of creatives have experienced in the creative sector in the United States. I don't know here about Europe. I haven't done any research about it, but in the United States, a lot of people were laid off because of the fact that these corporations, these management levels, are seeing something, and what they don't see is that, first of all, you have to take into consideration the fair and ethical use. And secondly, what you also have to take into consideration, that there has to be a moral incline to respect people's work, right? Somebody's creative property, somebody's intellectual property. But here's the thing that I'm going to tell you now, right? I'm going to tell you this, which I now feel that you should be doing. Because if you are working in the creative sector, and or you working part-time somewhere else, right? Just, to pay the bills, whatever it might be. And you're working as an artist and creative, and you have your platform and you're posting and you're sharing. I want you to be very mindful on how you do that, because now, as we are in the time of AI, this is your responsibility now. You cannot depend on other people and these platforms to protect you, right? It wasn't too long ago that Facebook and Pinterest said, if you Do not go into your settings and tell us that we are not allowed to take your work to train our AI modules, then we're just going to do it. They are just blatantly telling you that in your face. So you have the responsibility to do it yourself. You have the responsibility to take care of that, right? You have the responsibility to do it yourself. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot depend on these platforms to protect you. And I cannot tell you to post on these platforms because social media is still one of the most powerful tools for yourself to gain traction, right? And I'm not talking about all of the algorithm, how you need to do it. Please, the algorithms are changing each and every single time. So I don't believe that that is worth a conversation, right? Let's put that to the side. That is one part of the conversation. But when you choose to full out share your work, I sometimes do that from time to time, but I'm very wary of that. But now I'm been able to create a system so that I still have a possibility, yes, growing out a community, but also protecting my own work. You have to start thinking about that. Because if you see your work somewhere else because some platform has trained it and oopsie daisy, whoop de doo, they took it, then that is on you. And you cannot be coming here to the internet and be like crying about it. Now, I'm not saying that you should not take any measurements against it, but you have been warned. These are times where you now have to start thinking proactively. And you cannot get lost in your will and in your hunger to be the best, to grow out, to become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm not saying don't become bigger. What I'm saying is be mindful. Be mindful. Be mindful on how you want to become bigger. Be mindful on the fact that you using these social media platforms and it comes to AI, you are building your castle on somebody else's land. Have a plan on how you can support your community and how you can move your community to a place where you can really nurture them. So that means go to Patreon, right? Think about that one. Go to Patreon. If you have a good amount of following, I don't have a really big following. I don't have a really big following on any of the platforms, but I have a bigger following on in my newsletters because there's where I want to nurture the people. Because if TikTok says or YouTube says we're going to change everything, and now I have to figure out how I'm going to grow again, at least I nurture the people in a place where I know that I can reach them and they can also reach my art or my insights or trainings, whatever it is that I have. So for creatives and artists that are listening, when I say creatives, that means you are in the creative sector. So that can be in the movie industry, that can be in the art industry, that can be as a social media, and social media marketing, whatever. Right? And as an artist, it's pretty broad. You can take it any particular way. And most of us are entrepreneurs. Most of us are startups. Most of us are, we have businesses. Most of us have built a platform or you want to build a platform. When it comes to AI, have a really good understanding of what that means. Because here's another portion of AI which makes it maybe so makes it such a slippery slope for creatives and artists to be on, right? What is such a slippery slope for creatives and artists to be on? And that is a lot of times, well, how am I going to use it? I don't want to lose control over what it is that I'm doing. I don't want to lose control over what it is that I'm creating. And people just tend to stay away from the conversation of AI and away from the conversation of workflow automation, especially workflow automation, because a lot of us think it is something that only tech bros do. People in technology do. People in IT use workflow automation. That's not true. If you have set an alarm, you're using workflow automation. You're using automation. If you have put a rule into your inbox to put certain emails in a folder, that's automation. So everybody's working with automation. All right. Everybody is working with automation. By the way, if you have questions, put them in the mailbox. Not in the mailbox, but you can put them here in the chat, right? And I will just go through it. Oh, no, not that. Oh my God, just stay there. I will look through it once, if I see it, I will get to it. But it can be a slippery slope because of its ease, the accessibility, and the way that it's just um, you can do really great things with it. But I always say, excuse me, I always say you have to be very aware of the fact that these AI programs are these large language modules, right? Artificial intelligence, generative modules. You have to be very aware of the fact that you can be coming into a space where things can go horribly wrong because these things are like big, large calculators. That's the analogy that I like to use. They look like big, large calculators that can help you do work. But you, as a mathematician, see yourself as a mathematician, someone who went to university to learn mathematics. And any mathematician, any person who works with mathematics uses a calculator. AI is such a strong calculator that if you have not studied how to use that particular calculator, you can do some stupid things. You can do some evil things. You can do some weird things, but you can also do beautiful things. So you have to become aware when you are having a conversation with people who are not mathematicians. These are people who are just wanting to have an easy answer, and that's why they're using this big calculator. But they are not thinking about the fact, how did I come to my calculation? Why is my calculator giving me this answer? These are people who are just taking whatever is coming out of that LLM as true. They're not thinking about it like, is that true? Does that make sense? Right? So think about yourself as a mathematician. Think about yourself as being this someone who has studied. And studying it means you have to use it, experiment with it, go deeper with it, understand what it means, what it can do, right? Now I hear a lot of people say, I ain't got the time for it. Well, if you don't have the time for it, that's one thing. I cannot do anything about it. I'm going to be really honest. If you say I don't have the time for it, then that is what it is. That's the end of the conversation. You might as well just stop listening, right? You might as well just stop listening. But when it's being used against you and you feel that you're not part of the conversation, to get into the conversation, we also have to understand what it is that we are dealing with. So then it becomes important for you to understand what it is, right? And then it becomes very important to understand what it is. It's like wanting to speak Spanish, but you don't want to learn the words because you don't have the time for it, but you want to speak Spanish. How does that work? Right? You have to get into it. You have to get into it. So moving from that level where we are now talking about, right? And we're going into workflow automation. Why workflow automation? And why specifically for creatives and artists? Because I know, as I'm one myself, I know how important it is to have the space and the time to create what it is that you want to create. So that can be the next painting that you have. That can be the next painting that you have. It can be the next sculpture that you want to do. Maybe the next book that you're writing. Maybe it's another article that you want to do. Maybe you want to start with your blog. Maybe you are someone who is into whatever it might be, but you cannot be bothered by all of the minute things when it comes to doing the work around it, right? So you have the main work, the core work, that is you being an entrepreneurial artist, entrepreneurial creative, maybe you're a startup, you're a founder. This is also really great for founders. This is also really great for smaller businesses, bigger businesses, medium businesses. Bigger businesses will probably already get into it and they are still struggling with it. But it's a great way for you to get into that. The way that it really works for me is that I have been able to create a system that allows for me to be everywhere without being everywhere. It's like being the Wizard of Oz. I'm behind the curtain. Nobody knows that I'm there. You don't get to see me. You have to be Dorothy to come and see me and find me. So it kind of to me now feels like I'm the Wizard of Oz. Nobody knows that I'm pulling the strings here and there, or that strings are automatically being pulled behind the scene, that they automatically pull behind the scene. And that is the beautiful thing about it. To give a really good example, I make a lot of TikTok videos here. I give a lot of insight. And the beautiful thing about TikTok is it has taught me in a story based way to go into the details within a time limit of 10 minutes. So, certain topics that I talk about do need time, really like 10 minutes. I really need those 10 minutes to talk about it because there are too many nuances for me not to go over them, right? I need to take them into the conversation, at least the most important ones. But TikTok really pushed me to speak in a story based manner. So there is an introduction. I need to hit you with the hook. Then I come with the core. There are some points, and then I end it with a conclusion. So it really helped me to do that. So a lot of the videos that I have on TikTok have really great insight. I have a lot of information that I also then can share on a LinkedIn. I can create a blog post out of it. I can create, what do I do with it? I can create a blog post out of it. And I also use it for captions to repost my videos. The thing is, I'm not going to do that all because if I have to do that, I will be busy for the coming 4-5 hours. And then I'm too tired. And then I'm too tired to do anything else. Right? I'm too tired to do anything else. I'm way too tired. Next to being an artist, I also have a business where I create online teaching programs for the Creole language, the Surinamese language. I automated a lot of those things in there as well. Where in the beginning, as I was figuring it out and I was growing it out, I would be busy with a with a lesson and a language for maybe 3-4 days. Now I can condense it into 2 days. And that's not even 2 full days. No. So I can literally choose 2 days in a week where I will be busy for maybe 3 hours and we are done. So automation has freed a lot of space and time for me because the thing that you now have to start thinking about as an artist or a creative is there are processes in your work that you actually can automate. You think that everything is part of the process of getting that creative output or that artistic output. That is not true. You have an output, but what happens around it, that is the process. So you have to really be strategic. What is necessary for it to start? And then everything happens in the meantime. And what is then at the end of it? What comes at the end of it? That is the product, right? It's a product that you might share with your audience. It can be a newsletter. It can be a blog post. It can be a social media post. It can be a video. It can be any of those things. But everything that happens in between, those are little steps that you are doing. This is not your artistic, creative process. It might feel that way, but that has to do with the fact that you are spilling over a lot of that energy into that work. So there is no clear barrier of you being in your creative and artistic state and you just being in working mode. And not saying that when you are in your creative state or artistic state, you're not in your working mode, but for many artists and creatives, being in your artistic and creative state is synonymous to being in your working mode. It is synonymous to that. It's almost the same. It feels the same. That's why a lot of creatives and artists say, I don't want workflow automation or AI to interfere with my work. But then, have you clearly looked at what it is that you're doing, right? You create something, you maybe want to share it on social media. You create something, you might want to sell it to your audience. You have done something, you sold something, now you have to do the admin so that you have a proper bookkeeping. All of those processes are not your creative or your artistic work. They are not your creative or artistic flow. They are not. The only thing that you might notice is that your flow is spilling over into them, which is also then the reason why many people are so tired of it. That also explains why so many people are tired, they feel exhausted. And it's not that you're exhausted with your creativity, your artistry. No. And even if you are, that's okay because that is also work. That's totally fine. But it's what happens around it, right? Around it. And another thing that I also notice, of course, and you can read it anywhere on, excuse me, you can read it anywhere on social media, is of course um, that, when it comes to engagement, when it comes to interaction, things are then slowing down for artists and creators, or you really have to work hard, right? One video might be going viral. I have not have yet a viral video, but I'm not doing it for the viral video. I'm doing it for having a mailing list. I want to have a mailing list. That is what I want, right? Y'all can keep the viral videos. I want to have a mailing list. I want to nurture the people that follow me offline, but I will get to that another time in another video, right? Another live where we're going to talk about that and how workflow automation helps in that. So, a lot of y'all are using the social media, of course, to promote yourself. And a lot of work goes into that. A lot of energy goes into that. You want to make it. You're struggling with, is it good enough? If you're not getting the likes, if you're not getting the engagement, if you're not getting the interaction, it must not be good enough. It must not this. Let me help you with the thought. Have you ever thought about the fact that you are in competition with the next video that comes behind you? Have you ever thought about the fact that you are in competition with the next video behind you, right? That finger that that person has that swipes, right? And where they stop and say, this is the one that I want to see, this is the one that I want to like. And then that one video that gets viral because everybody adheres to a particular formula, right, of a video, which will make a video viral. But then people will move on. People will go to have you ever thought about the fact that you are in constant competition with the next video? And because the next video is not 3 seconds away, the next video is not 10 seconds away, the next video is not 1 minute away, the next video is literally maybe less than a second away. So, yes, it is important, of course, to have the engagement and the interaction with people. You have to grab people's attention instantaneously, whether you are an artist, a creative, or an employee who is here on the TikTok and you want to create a following because you don't like your job and you want to move away, right? Or you are a business and you sell a particular product and you want that product to be successful and you want to get people's attention. It doesn't really matter about that. Everybody's here who's really taking social media in a way where you want to build a platform, you want to get people's attention. You have to take into consideration the next video is less than a second away. So you have to be mindful of, okay, I could go viral, but what would be more important for me to allow my work to be meaningful? Because if you're fighting for each and every half a second that the next video is going to come up, you're going to be fighting for a long time. You're going to be on the social media platform for a long time. You're going to be wondering why your videos are not working. Of course, that is important to get into as well, right? But you also have to think about the fact that, um, yo, there are other people behind you. So, what is then more important? Is it more important for you to cultivate your audience that you have, your community, and bring your community to a place where you can nurture them further? Like I said before, bring them to a Patreon, bring them to your mailing list, bring them to your blog, bring them to your website. Because all of these social media platforms have a lifespan, meaning they start out at a certain point where everybody is the same. Everybody meets each other at the same point. Look at Instagram, look at a Facebook, now with Substack. It it started with being a platform for writers. You could write your story, right? We're not going into the videos, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. We want you to be here and write. We want to do something different. And now what you're seeing on Substack, which each and every single social media platform is going, they will go through that phase, is that they will introduce more features because they want to make more money. And if more money needs to be made for the people that are investing their money into those social media platforms, then new features have to come in to keep people on those social media platforms, to create more data, and therefore to have you longer on the platform. I want you to start thinking differently on how you are using those platforms. Now, if your goal is to go viral, go viral. I'm not going to stop you. Go viral. Right? Because that's your goal. Your goal is to say, each and every single time, I just want to go for a viral video. Do it. Do it. I don't mean that in a cynical or sarcastic way. I mean that in a very honest, authentic way. That is just something that you have to do. Nobody is different. Nobody's the same. But that is not going to be for most of us. Why? Because I already explained it to you. You are half a second away from somebody else watching another video. The competition is so steep. So steep. Hmm? So it is not always that your art is bad. It's not always that your creativity might not be appreciated, even though it might feel that way. So start thinking about ways where you can now build a system that incorporates interaction and engagement offline, and do it in an automatic way so that you're not constantly in the rubble, in the pull, in the tug and pull to have people come to the place where you are, or you losing followers and then you're gaining followers and then you're losing followers. You know, the game that is being played. Nurture your audience offline as well and make it automatic, right? That's a great example when it comes to the social media side. Now, when you have your platform and you're selling your work, but now it's like, oh God, I'm growing and I don't know what to do because I cannot do anything else because I have to be in the business of it. That is also a very good reason now to start automating your things. All right. You wanting to have control over your work is not healthy. That is because you have an unhealthy relationship with the chaos that is now happening, or the work that you're now seeing, and you feel that you need to enmesh yourself with it. Because if you don't, then everything is going to fall apart. That should not be the case. It should be capable for you to walk away from your business for 2 weeks if you want to go on a holiday. If you want to go on a holiday for 2 weeks, and now you cannot go on a holiday because you're afraid what you're going to meet if you come back because the work has become so big, you have to automate that. Yes, I said you have to. Yes, you have to. Because you have 24 days in an hour. You have 24 hours in a day. That would have been something, huh? 24 days in an hour. That would have been a very quick life that we have. That would have been a very quick life. But we have 24 hours in a day. You sleep on average 8. Yes? The people sleep on average 8 hours. Then you have 16 left. I don't know if you have a full time job or a part time job next to what it is that you do, or maybe that what you're doing is your full time business. And you have your own life. Maybe you have a family, maybe you have a partner, maybe you're just solo, maybe you have pets. I don't know how your life looks like, but um, I want to take some rest. I don't know about you, and I don't want to survive my life. No, I don't want to survive my life. I don't. I want to live my life. And you should be able to do that too. That is just, isn't that the greatest gift that you can give yourself? Just to enjoy your life? Okay, we're already going through ups and downs. Why are you adding to all of the turmoil? Hmm? Why are you adding to the turmoil? Because you feel or believe that you should be on top of things 24 hours a day. That is the reason why these big businesses have so many people working for them. Because these people are now taking over that what those CEOs maybe used to do in the past. But hey, if you're not a big business or anything else, then you have to start thinking smart and think in a way where you can say, okay, I really want to make more time for myself, right? So for the people on YouTube, you don't get to see it, but here on TikTok, I've posted an image where it says "Save your time." Yes, save your time. You should be able to take a nap during the day if you really feel tired. You shouldn't be sitting um, 14 hours, 16 hours, 8 hours long on admin or on I've created a video. Now I have to create a blog post. I have to think about a topic and it has to have SEO. It needs to have long keywords. Oh, I need to find a picture. Okay, now I posted it. Now I have to go over here and have to repost or have to, I have to schedule it now in the social media management platform. I have to schedule it, or I have to post it right away here in TikTok. I have to post it right away here in Instagram, and here I have to post it in Facebook. Okay, now I have to create art, or now be creative. You don't feel the time for it. You don't feel the time for it. You don't feel the time for it. Okay, you're going to be exhausted. It might work for 3 4 days, maybe a month, maybe 6 months for the real for the real people that thug it out. But I don't believe that hustle culture is a I don't believe that hustle culture is something that you can sustain for a long time. If you're starting out, yeah, you're going to hustle your butt. You have to hustle your butt off. You do. If you're winning with a flying start and you're winning, hey, that's the biggest luck that you can have. But in most cases, you will hustle hard. If you saying, I'm an artist, I really want to make it. I want people to see my art, or I'm a creative. I have things that I have to offer to people. I have great insight. I have all of these great thoughts and things. you will have to hustle in the beginning because you are not the only one. Period. It's just the way it is. You're not the only one. You're not. You are not. I have a book. I don't have it here on my table. That's why I'm looking around, but I don't have it here on my table. But I have a book by Seth Godin. I have to say Seth Godin. That is Sethgodin. And it's called This is Marketing. And in that book, he explains, and I've seen many podcasts of him as well on YouTube. And in that book, he explains that in order for you to really make a change for yourself, just to have a viable community, you need at least 1,000 people who are following you. You need at least 1,000 people who are in your corner, right? Who are part of your community, who buy what it is that you have to offer, who are listen what it is that you have to offer, or maybe read what it is that you have to offer. They engage what it is with what you have to offer. They interact with what it is that you have to offer. You need at least 1,000 people. Less than that is just way too small to get into an area, a space where you can say, I'm doing this full time, right? Then you kind of being in this in the part time, full time, part time, full time. Which also shows a good side of it, right? You don't need a huge audience. You don't need 10,000 people. You don't need 100,000 people. You don't need, a million people. And having like 1,000 people also allows for you as an artist or creative to grow authentically, to be authentically that what it is that you present yourself to be, because you don't have to be running behind the numbers or the virality of what your content needs to be. If your content is not a viral type of content, why are you going for viral content? Right? I know I'm not talking about viral type of content. I know it's not going to, maybe, who knows, one day, maybe, right? But in the meantime, I find it far more important to have people who say, I get that. And that is what I can get with. That is how I started to build out my mailing list. Because there are people in there that say, I get what she's saying. I hear that and I want to get into that. That makes sense, right? So workflow automation is something that is not only for IT guys. The way that I use it is I say I take this TikTok video, I put it into workflow automation. The tool, the platform that I use is Make. And it used to be called Intogourmet or something like that, but let's just keep it here. Make automation. That is what I use. It is a non-coding tool. You can use coding if you want to, but I'm not a developer, so I'm not using coding. And it's a great way for me to say, I'm going to use a TikTok video. I'm going to take the audio of that TikTok video. I'm going to transcribe it. And from that transcription, I can make a blog post. I can make a caption for social media for my videos that I can repost. I can make a newsletter, right? I can store it in my archive if I might need it. I can give it a good title so I know what it is about. I can do so many things with it. Now I can make a LinkedIn post from it. Now I am not bothered by the process of having to sit for a couple of hours. Now it's done on a scheduled time. That's it. It's done on a scheduled time. And you can do it for pretty much a lot of things. A lot of things, right? For the online language program that I offer, so the other business that I have, the online language program that I offer, I use an AI avatar, and I use a particular program for that. I automate that as well. In the past, I would be sitting like, oh my God, I have to create the video, I have to add the audio, and then I have to download it and I have to post it. Now the creation of the video is done automatically. So the only thing I need to do is download the video, put some razzle dazzle to it, and it goes back to my drive so that it can be automatically posted to the platforms where it needs to be. That's it. It takes it really saves time. So it's not a gimmick what I'm using, even though it can sound like a gimmick, right? Save time, get more money. But eventually you're also saving money with it, right? I don't know what your business structure or module is, so I cannot guarantee you that you're gonna make an extra 10,000 euros or $1,000. That's not me. But you can probably figure out for yourself what you can do with that extra time. Right. You can. I don't have to figure out that for you. I mean, by the way, that would be weird for me to come and tell you that you can make an extra $1,000. You can see that for yourself what that is. I don't know what your business is, right? But if you have like extra 3 hours each and every single day, you probably can make more money. Yeah, I believe so. I definitely believe so. And if it's on automation, you definitely can make it on automation, right? So here are a number of things that you might want to know, right? Maybe you want to know, like, is there a steep learning curve? Do I have to sit down and, sit for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours to learn that? No, not that. Because I've done the heavy work for you. What I have is that you have the possibility to go to my platform. That's the if you're on TikTok, you can go to the link in my bio. If you're on YouTube, you can go to the link that you might find over there. Um, where I offer courses. I have digital goods that already have templates that you can use. I also have a training course that allows for you in 3 weeks, where I will be helping you along the way in 3 weeks to get you ready to set up your own automation. I will give you a free template where we're going to use that. You're going to practice with that. And that will help you get into this mindset of, oh, okay, well, this is something that I can use. And I'm going to also explain to you, this is the way that you set up an account. This is how you need to look at it. The account that I use, the platform that I use, Make, has a free account. But as you extend the number of automations that you're going to use, eventually you will have to go into a paid account. So, no, setting up your automations is something that you're not going to be doing for free 99. And you should not be doing that for free 99, because that would not be, I would be looking at you strange. Nobody's going to offer you that service for free 99, right? Nobody's going to do that. But it is a service that will repay you in time, in effort, and eventually also in money, because you get to do more of the creative work and the art in the meantime. You get to do more of that. Now, how you do that, that's up to you. I'm not advising you into doing that. You are an artist. This is your business. This is your platform. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to get into it, if you're a business owner and you're like, hey, this is something that I really want to get into, I want to know more about it, then this is the platform where you need to be, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a creative. I have a business, multiple ones. So that makes it also, good to have someone on your side who says, I know what it is that you're talking about, and this is what we can do. Hold up. I have to do something here on Tickety Talk. If it allows me, what's going on? So, is that annoying puzzle? Oh, it says it's not good. Right? So, you will have the opportunity to get into those classes, right? You definitely want to get into my mailing list, because in my mailing list I talk a lot about, of course, I give a lot of insight when it comes to being creative, being an artist, how we look at intelligence and AI is really good stuff. And next to that, I'm also making offers. So there will be, from time to time, there will be like a special offer that allows for you to get in it when the opportunity is there, right? So you definitely want to get into my mailing list to get more information on that, because there is so much that I can explain about it offline, which makes it also handy for people who are never really into these type of things, but maybe you heard about it. Maybe this is the first time that you have seen it. Maybe this is the first time that you came across it, and it's like, you know what, I can actually use some help, right? I can use some help And this is also great for people who have teams. So it's not only for the solo riders, right? The solo entrepreneurs, the solo. No, this is great for people who have teams and you want to have more efficiency or more streamlining your activities in your team, right? Because it's not only the solo entrepreneurs that are doing things inefficiently. No, there are a lot of businesses out there where you see one person, two persons, three persons. That is it. That's the team. So you can already imagine that they have found a system for themselves where they're streamlining a lot of their work through automation. And you definitely want to get into it, right? If you are not convinced and you think I'm just yapping, let me tell you a little bit of a backstory where it actually started for me. I talked about it yesterday, and I think I'm going to talk about it each and every single day because I do have a mission that before the end of this month, there will be at least 10 people coming into this course, right? So I definitely want to encourage you, don't sit back and forth too long with it, right? If you know that you need something and you're looking for a solution, not an emotion, but you want the solution. You want to have the solution that will make you work more efficiently, that will save up time, and you can go back to what it is that you're doing. That is what you're investing in, so that eventually you have the time to delegate how you want your day to look like, right? That's what you're getting into. Because I'm not here to give you a good feeling, but I'm here to give you a method that eventually can help you give you yourself a good feeling. All right, that's what we do. So the thing that inspired me is this book. It's in Dutch. It says, if you translate it, a 4-hour work week. It's by this author, Timothy Ferris. Timothy Ferris. I bought this book in 2013. The first edition came in 2007. Why am I emphasizing that? Because in this book, in 2007, right? And this man has already like a lot of editions, of this book. And I don't think it has the same cover. It has this, but maybe in a different color. I've seen different versions of it. But I definitely want to encourage you to go and get this book. If you want to know what the predecessor was of workflow automation, get this book. Get this book. Get this book. I've read it twice. I had to read it twice because the first time I was like, I read it, but my mind cannot comprehend it. And the reason why my mind could not comprehend his way of explaining what workflow automation is, is because I was still very much in the flow and in the working of a 40-hour work week. And on the side, I was doing art and I was hustling and bustling. So my mind was very much into the anxiety and I was tired. And I was like, yeah, this sounds like too good to be true. Too good to be true. But the thing that he talked about was being a man, right? Timothy Ferris, basically, I'm not saying it verbatim, but the way that he's explaining it is like, listen, I'm a dude that likes to do a lot of things, right? I like to do a lot of things. He was a martial art fighter. He used to be a host of a show. Maybe still he does those things. He is a writer. He's doing a lot of things. He has done a lot of things. And in order for him to have all of these interests, basically enrich his life, he needed to have a system. You cannot be chaotic and just jump from one moment to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. He realized that, hey, I need a system, right? I need a system that allows for me to bring in the cash flow, help others, and at the same time have a great life where I'm not surviving, I'm living. So one of the things that he talked about is, of course, having digital goods. And we all know that digital goods are, they are all the rage. Here on TikTok, nobody can stop talking about digital goods, and everybody acts as if this is the newest thing. This man already talked about it in 2007, and I bet that there were people talking about it even earlier. So for me, it's nothing new. I'm not really impressed. Okay, I'm not impressed. To me, this is me personally, and this is not me shading anybody else. But to me, all of the people that are talking on TikTok about digital goods right now, and as if it's the latest thing, y'all are just getting into a marketing stunt. Because this dude already talked about it in 2007. We are here in 2025. So please, I don't want to hear nothing about it. Okay. And probably they started a lot earlier. All right. If you started talking about it in 2007, you best believe that they already started talking about it a lot earlier. So digital goods have been here for a very long time. So one of the things that he talks about, then he talks about take a virtual assistant, right? I don't have a virtual assistant, but he says take a virtual assistant. Those things that you don't want to do, take on calls, your admin, emails, all of those things, take a virtual assistant. And he also discusses in that book, and you can already notice that I remember this book very well. He also talks in that book, listen, you cannot come with an excuse of not having the budget for a virtual assistant and at the same time want to have the liberty to live the life that you want to live, right? In the beginning, yes, you might be doing a lot yourself, right? You might be doing a lot yourself. But if um, things are at such a level, that's why I'm saying I do the emails. I don't mind doing emails. I don't need a virtual assistant for that. I can do the emails quite fine. So that is not a problem for me. For me, it's more the operational side. Automation helps for me for the operational side, for distributing my work out there, distributing my business out there. That's where I need it for. I don't need it for the emails. Maybe someone else needs it for the emails. I don't. That's not my that's not my problem. I don't have bottlenecks here. But for him, that was a bottleneck. So he said I needed a virtual assistant and it freed up a lot of time for him. And the virtual assistant would only come to him when necessary, excuse me, when necessary to talk about certain matters. Other thing that he talks about is automation. Put things in automation. You cannot put everything into automation. I don't believe that. But you can put a lot of things in automation. That I do believe. And I've noticed it for myself as well. I notice it. So there are a lot of things that you can put in automation. You don't have to put everything into automation. The goal of automation is also not to put everything into automation. The goal of automation is to save up time those to save up time in those activities that give you a lot of work manually. Hmm? They give you a lot of work manually. How can we set up a process to do that? And with workflow automation, we can also use AI. And I do that in the workflow that I spoke about, where I said I'm using um, what I'm doing is I'm using my TikTok videos and I'm reposting them as blogs. I have a very specific prompt in which I say, I want you to keep at least 85 to 95% of my text. I only want you to restructure it, put it in good grammar, have good spelling. You need to make an excerpt because it's being posted in WordPress. My website is on WordPress. It's an open source platform. It's called WordPress. So I need to have an excerpt, and I want you to use these keywords that people are looking for on the internet so that people can find the blogs. And I want you to put it as a draft so that I get to scan it and read it. If it's good, then I can publish it myself or plan it, schedule it myself. This afternoon, I was able to schedule until the 25th of November for each and every single day, except for the weekends, to schedule blogs. And I did that in less than 30 minutes. It's literally scanning because these are words that I've already spoken about. So there is no weird thing or something that AI is just interject. No, because I've constructed a prompt. I've tested the prompt multiple times. I cannot tell you how many times, but I can tell you, I have I have tested and created a prompt so tailored and so specific to my needs that I'm coming with quality information each and every single time. And this is not slop. This is not AI slop. This is not something that AI has copied somewhere else. This is how you use AI to give you feedback, to support your work, not to substitute your work, not to create your work. If you want to do that, I'm not shaming you, I'm not shading you. Everybody has their own way of doing it. I want to feel and see the authenticity of my words and my thoughts in what I post out, because that is also the thing that is going to attract people to what it is that I do. Right? So that means I have to have a very specific prompt. I cannot have this loosely based prompt that says make a blog post about AI. Yeah, then we're going to get it. You're going to get a very generic yeah, a blog post. It's going to be very generic. You don't want that. It's going to be very generic. And to be quite honest, I mean, it's good. Let's say it's modest. It's okay. I don't want to say it's good. And let me say it's modest. Okay, let me check if there are any questions. I have to put it like this because my shirt is blocking the letters. Y'all ain't got no questions. At least I don't. Mm, no, y'all ain't got no question. No. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Okay. This. So I have a very specific prompt. I have taken the time wanting to study AI. I have taken the time to think about, okay, in 2013, I was introduced to this book. The first time when I read it, I was like, yeah, it sounds kind of too good to be true. So I was still going back and forth, struggling, struggling, struggling. We are now in 2025. Now I have set up systems. I've studied it enough. Um, and it allows for me to have the freedom that I want, basically, right? Everybody can use their time because we all know that time is money. And the moment that you spend your time, you're not going to get it back. I cannot get those hours back using them to create all of this content, and I have to repost it and I have to reschedule it. It doesn't compete to having a system that starts at a particular point. In the example that I gave about myself, it starts at having a TikTok video and it ends with maybe 3 or 4 different platforms where I can repost it. I can repost it to a LinkedIn. I can repost it to a WordPress. If I had a blogger, oh, wait a minute, I still have Blogger, Blogger. I still have Blogger. If I had Blogger, we'd post it over there too. I can repost it to my mailing list, right? And I can create a campaign. It comes into my mailing program. I use MailerLite. Other people use MailChimp. Then there are people using Aweber, whatever you want to use. And it comes in as a draft, and I use that draft. I just scan the draft. If I feel that things need to be removed, I remove them. If I wanted to have it the way it is, and it's going to be the way it is, and I post it. And people will get it automatically. I don't have to think about it, right? It takes away a lot of the thinking. It takes away a lot of what you think you need to do. Oh, I need to think about this. You don't have need or to. No, 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 no. Mm-mm. Mm. Now, is it something that is error free? No. It's not error free because it depends very much on, have you made a mistake? Did you run out of content? How many operations do you want to run? How many workflows do you have? How big is your workflow? How expensive is your workflow? So these are things that you definitely have to think about. And for the people that come into, that come into my trainings, that come into the courses for this, you're also coming to a special group where you get to ask those questions. So it's not just you getting a training and adios, I don't ever see you again. You get the opportunity to be supported, to be guided. So you will not be wandering around like, well, I one time had this course and, this person talked about it. I mean, it's good, it's great, I get it. But, I do got a question. I don't know if I need to ask that. Yes, ask. Please do. Ask the questions. Ask the questions. You have to ask the questions. Because if you're not asking the questions, you will not get better. You will not get better at it. Is there a learning curve? Absolutely. I'm not going to lie to you. You need to learn. If this is something that is completely new to you, you need to learn. You need to learn. If this is something that you're already familiar with, maybe because you used Zapier, or maybe you have used IFTTT, which is if this then that, or maybe any other platform, but now you really want to set up like something solid, then you already have a head start. I mean, for you, it's like, okay, I already understand the concept. I just need to know, how it kind of works, works together with each other. Yeah, how it works together. So for the people who sign up for the newsletter, you then have an opportunity to get a great deal, a special offer. Um, that will be just there in the email box where you can look at. If you're already there and you're like, listen, I don't want to wait a single moment longer, this is now the moment that you need to do it. And the reason why I'm also saying this, all of this, is because, like I already said, I bought this book 2013. We're now here in 2025. And for me, the biggest takeaway from having actually 12 years of stunting around on how I really can set up a system for myself, and also having to challenge certain beliefs, right? Challenge certain beliefs, because you also have to challenge yourself on your need to want to have control over everything. Because what workflow automation is going to do is going to confront you. Workflow automation is going to confront you if you are willing to let go of control. Are you willing to let go of the control? Because if you're not willing to let go of the control and you feel that you need to be tinkering and touching and know you want to do it yourself because you can't see it, this is never going to work. It will never, I'm already telling you, it's never going to work. And that might have been one of, no, not might have been, that's definitely one of the reasons that I had to deal with within that 13-year span. My need to show other people, hey, I'm busy. Look at all the work that I'm doing. It doesn't matter if people see it or not. I'm going to tell you right away. It's great if people can appreciate it. It's great if you want to show people the behind the scene and what it is that you're doing. But at the end, people just want to see what it is that you have to offer. Can you give me some of that good stuff that you get? That's what they want to know. Can you do that? Can you give them what it is that they want? And can you do that pronto? Or in the time span that you want to give it, that you can give it to them. Because people that are with you, they will be there for you. They will wait until you get that offering. And a lot of times these are the people that are in your newsletters because they have made that decision to follow you. They want to know more of what it is that you have to say, right? They want to know more of that. But that also means you have to be willing to give up the control. If your belief says, I need to have control over everything what it is that I do, or else I'm afraid that it's a chaos, then it already was a chaos. It already was chaos. And you think because you are now on it, you are regulating it, you are putting everything into order. That's not true. It was already chaos. That's why you are so on it. That's why you feel that you are the spill of it. If you feel, well, I am responsible and I am, at the end of the day, I'm the person who's responsible and accountable. Yeah, that's true. But you can also be responsible and accountable and still automate it. So that's total BS. If that is what you're thinking, it's total BS. It's total BS. Hmm? It's total BS. It's not true. You don't have to be hands on it and still and therefore feel accountable and responsible, or I'm accountable and responsible and that's why I need to be all in it. You want to micromanage because you don't trust yourself. You have a lack of trust and you have a lack of understanding of your own process. Because basically any process can be automated, but you have to understand what it is that you're doing. And if you constantly busy, being busy is the process, you cannot automate busyness. I'm going to tell you that right away, straight up. You cannot automate busyness. You cannot automate busyness. It will never work. You can automate a process. You can automate your activities. That's what you can do. You can save up your time. You can go back to what it is and how you would like to see your day unfold, right? Which activities are you okay with doing, and what activities would you love for yourself to be activated within an automation? But you cannot automate busyness. It doesn't exist. It cannot be done. Because the busyness has nothing to do with the activities, it has to do with you. You as a person are busy. Your activities are not busy. So when somebody comes to you, I'm so busy, 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 busy. Yeah, that's them. They are busy. They are. They are. Yeah, so you cannot automate your busyness. It doesn't make sense. When you are automating your schedule of when you're going to bed, right? Your alarms, you're not automating your sleepiness. You're automating your sleeping rhythm. There's a programming that you have set for yourself. You know how much hours sleep you need so that you have the possibility to prepare for going to bed and also for waking up. That is a rhythm, that's a system. You're not programming your sleepiness. That's the same thing. That's me now being cynical. I have a very cynical side. I don't show it all the time, but I have a very cynical side. So when people are saying, well, I'm busy and I hope that automation can help me in that, I'm just going to be straight up in your face. No, it's not going to help you with that. It's not going to help you with busyness. No, no. But it will definitely help you understand I have a process. There are a number of activities. I am very okay doing this, but I cannot be doing all of this. Or my team cannot be doing all of this. It's just taking up too much of our time. And we want to go back, or at least have a portion of time where we can go back to the creative process, where we come back to the artistic part process, where we go back to doing business. That is what you can automate. Yes, that is what you can automate. You can do that. So, coming to the end of this show, it was fun, it was great, but it's time for me to skedaddle. All right, it's time for me to skedaddle. Do please go to, yes, do please go to the link where you can find all of the information of the resources that I have for you. There are trainings in which I will train you how to set up your own working automation schedule. I also have digital goods that you can download and you can start on Make Automation platform like this. You import them and you can get them in there. That's a beautiful thing about digital goods. You can start right away. And there is also a possibility when you say, I want to have something that is tailored to what it is that I need, there's also a possibility for that. Therefore, you can go to the link in the bio. For the people on TikTok, you can go to the link in the bio. People on YouTube, you can go to the link that is in the channel. There you can find more information. Yes? Do not, this is a last note, do not wait until the 31st of December to go into that. Do not wait until the 1st of January to go into that because you're too late. Set up yourself for success now so that 6 weeks from now, because I think we now have what, 6 weeks or 7 weeks? 6 or 7 weeks from now, you have the possibility to step into a new year automating your processes, automating your activities. You're already having a head start. You have a head start on others and also for yourself, for your team, if necessary, so that you have things in order and the year is starting strong. You have then the possibility to also troubleshoot because you have had the training to not only learn, but to also help yourself troubleshoot, right? And if necessary, contact. So get to the link in the bio. Don't just sit here and scroll to the next video and be like, oh, yes, I will, I will. No, most people who do that, y'all won't. Those are people who just have been listening because you have maybe nothing to do. But for the people who are really looking for the solutions, go to the link in the bio. Don't wait no minute longer. You have 7 more weeks till the end of this year to make a flying start for the next year. Yes? And for the people who are sitting like, well, I don't know if it's worth the investment, then probably it's not worth your investment. You are not yet at that point where you get to say the time that I save is worth the investment. So I cannot help you with that. That I cannot help you with. I'm sorry. If you're still in that headspace, maybe you need to be there a little bit. Maybe it's the pain, the frustration of the problem that you might have with not having a system, an organization of how your work flows. It's not painful enough for you yet. And sometimes you just have to come to the point where it's so painful, there's no way out. You have to start doing it. So for the people that are ready to do it, start to go to the link in the bio. I will see you over there. Do subscribe to the newsletter. There are many offers that I'm making there and also give great insight into other topics. And of course, also getting into the workflow automation. I'll see y'all next time. I will be back tomorrow. Follow the pages here on YouTube, also on TikTok. I am out. See y'all tomorrow. Have a great continuation of your day.